Welcome to Protea Conversations. My name is Zane Stevens. Today we're on episode 15. We're with Michelle. Michelle, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Zane, and thank you very much for having me. I'm Michelle Bosman, and I am a manager here in Port Elizabeth. Yeah, so I'll let you lead the way with the questions before I get ahead of myself.
No worries. Today is March 15th, so it's a very belated congratulations on the promotion to manager. Obviously, would preferably wanted to do this a lot earlier, but most people should know by now that January is our busiest month. February doesn't really calm down, and it's just been a little chaotic. There's been a lot going on in the world, but congratulations. How are you feeling about the promotion?
Thank you very, very much, Zane. Obviously very excited by it. Very proud of it because it's been something that I've had in mind, and I've actively been trying to focus on my professional growth and growth within the space of the company. So I certainly felt quite an overwhelming sense of pride when it did happen, and then obviously the nerves kick in as well, because it's different challenges, different opportunities that come around, and you obviously want to make good on it. I mean, the work only starts once you get promoted. Then the next phase comes, which comes with quite a bit of work and just continuous work on oneself.
Yeah, and you should be really proud. I mean, it is an amazing achievement. Any promotion is well deserved. Especially at Protea, it's we set high standards, and any promotion would have required really hard work to be able to get there. These things don't just happen, right? There's a lot behind the journey, and we'll get a little bit into yours as we get there, because yours has been a little bit more unique than most. So I do want to share that a little bit. But let's talk about before Protea. Tell us a little bit about your journey from getting into the accounting world through to joining Protea. Give us the 30-second version.
Okay, the cliff notes, the highlights package. The chartered accountant designation was always something that I wanted to do. So that part was, I kind of knew that this is it for me, and from there, I was in auditing. I did my articles at a medium-sized firm in Port Elizabeth, and then I stayed on and sort of went through the ranks, was a supervisor, stayed rather until I'd become a manager. And up until that point, I think I was operating in a space, well, I guess this is kind of it for me, because I hadn't really considered what else was out there. And but I was very, very lucky, I think, to be given the opportunity to join Protea, because I always refer back, or even just explaining the concept to people. I mean, in the US, here we are in PE, and that it just works. So I think, and why I say lucky, I mean, there'd been a couple of people from the auditing firm that I was employed by that had gone over to Protea, and it was kind of just looking looking over the fence and being like, hold on, I think the grass is greener on that side. It was very difficult to make the change. I think I am one of the attributes that I think I most enjoy about myself is just commitment and loyalty. And I think somewhere along the way I thought, okay, well, I guess I'm an auditor, whether I like it or not, and I just didn't like it anymore. So to have gotten the opportunity to move out of that space and to actually operate in a field where you are continuously adding value, because I mean, whilst one learns a lot in the space, I think the overarching thought that I continuously had whilst being an auditor was the fact that everything is just so retrospective, and I always found myself in a space where just want to add value. How do we add value? How do we look at tomorrow? And obviously you're hindered by, the auditing space. Everything is what happened last year. Okay, well, there's not much you can do about it now. It's dead in the water. So I think that was one of the things that excited me most, making the change and joining Protea, was the opportunity to actually be a part of something that adds value and tangible value, at that, which is it's very meaningful to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's important for us to try to add value to our clients as much as we can. I think one thing that stood out for me there that I think is important for people to understand is that you were a manager at an audit firm. And, even though it's a medium-sized firm, it is probably the largest one in the area. So, you came with some title, but we sort of hyped you and said, no, not a manager. Yeah, you gotta take this other.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, knock me down. Definitely, it was, and that part I find when I reflect back on sort of the journey and getting to where I am today. And I mean, I've been with Protea. I'm now in my 5th year. I just celebrated my 4-year anniversary on January 2nd. So I was very proud when that day rolled around. Feels like just yesterday, but it also feels like I'm a part of the furniture. So
also, yeah, guys, it took a manager joined us, and it took another 4 years to get back to that title.
Well, exactly. So it's certainly when you have to work for it, the proof is in the journey. But the way I sort of see it from a personal standpoint was, I had left that space, and yes, I was a manager, but in hindsight, it was very much just it was just a title, because I think, and especially in the auditing space, and I think it's just a natural progression of how things are. The longer you stay, and anyone who's sort of done articles and opted to stay after can sort of attest to this, in that it really is, the longer you're in the space, I don't want to say the easier it becomes, but it is just sort of an expectation that you will move up the ranks. And, in the last 4 years, I almost felt like joining Protea, I had to kind of unwind myself in a way and almost start from scratch in a way. And when I say start from scratch, I mean purely from a perspective of, I actually had to focus on myself and my development points. And, some days I would think, man, don't you miss the days of just being a number? Because that is what you are not at Protea. And it feels that someone's always, looking at you and trying to, and that someone is generally you, trying to move them along. Okay, you're doing this, but I think we both know you can do better. And it's kind of, that catalyst for growth. And it really is, because if I had to go back now and say, should I have been a manager coming in? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, it's been a long road, but there's been a lot of lessons along the way.
Yeah, I mean, well, one, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's really great. We do believe we're different, and we do really care, and we are trying to help everybody grow all the time. So it's always good to hear that. You've been around for 4 years, so maybe you drank the Kool-Aid a little bit, but that's fine. We sort of treat everybody the same way, and we work through it the same portion. I think one of the things there that most people see as well is most careers have a pretty straight line on what you're going to do, right? And even at Protea, we're set up in a way where you sort of can be junior accountant, senior accountant, junior manager, senior manager. But your path wasn't really like that, right? So you had your straight path at the auditing firm. You came and you made a zigzag to come to us. And then within Protea, we made you zigzag all around as well. Like, it wasn't the little traditional straight path. And that was because when you started, one, you had a passion. It might have not been her first choice when it came to employment. There might have been another option that was very enticing. But we grabbed that passion and we've made the most of it, and that is getting you involved in training. So can you sort of tell us a little bit about your involvement on the training side?
Uh, Firstly, yes, 100%. You say passion, and I get all excited to get the chance to talk about it. You know, one of the things that surprised me was the fact that the opportunity was there. When I joined Protea, it really wasn't at the forefront of my mind. I joined for different reasons, you know, from a career standpoint. But something that I have always been passionate about is the training space, and being able to engage with people, being able to pass on a little bit of knowledge that's there, sourcing information, conveying that information, and just really ultimately connecting with people. And when I got the opportunity at Protea, I mean, I think I did, you know, I sort of tried to insert myself in. I was like, until you notice me, you know, give me a shot with this. And I guess that's what led us on the different path. And I mean, one of the things that I appreciate most about Protea is the commitment to training, and the commitment to not just, and it's not just the technical aspects that, you know, would further the business's needs, the businesses, you know, what having the guys up on the technical level, but it's the focus on personal development, personal growth. And that is something that I'm very proud of, that over the last few years, we've certainly shifted the focus to, you know, the encouraging the team to go out there and grow and develop. And it's not just lip service. You know, we have active things in place where we encourage the team on a monthly basis, so on a regular basis, to undertake what we call self-learning. And that is basically, you've got carte blanche. What is it that you want to improve on? Identify that within yourself and go out there and just you know, go and learn. And that's on companies' time. And I don't think a lot of companies can say that. So that's certainly one of the things that, like I say, I'm most proud of within the training space, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a true believer, and we just got to make people better, you know, 1% better every day, whatever that is. I don't care. You know, as the old saying is, right? You train people and they leave, that's fine, but it's better than not training and they never leave type situation, and you're stuck with problems. So I'd rather train people and they're so good that everybody wants them, or you know, either they really appreciate it and stay, which is obviously the preference. You know, to just stay with the cult forever.
That's the goal. Once you're in, you're in.
Yeah. Tell me about your biggest challenge since joining Protea.
I would say the big, and you know, how might not be able to convey this as well, but the biggest challenge in joining Protea was the constant need to really look at myself and sort of work on, and that's why I alluded to, you know, some days I was like, can't I just be a number? Get the attention off me, because it really, you know, everyone says, oh no, self-reflection and that, but when you really have to do it, it can be very, very challenging. And that's what I've just found the last 4 years, a space of continuous growth, and with that comes growing pains and learning things about yourself that, you know, you might not agree with. I mean, several times you and I have had conversations and I've straight off the bat disagreed with you. I've thought you were wrong and that you had read me incorrectly, and I'm going to show you. And then a few months later, we're having the same conversation and I'm like, you know what, you were right. So from that aspect, that would be the challenge, or that has been the challenge for me. Integrating into the space, one of the easiest things I've had to do. I am very, you know, I think the challenge for me was joining. That was okay, making the jump, but you know, like I say, integrating into the team, and that I found it's always been good. it's a good environment. I enjoy the team at large, and the team that just continues to grow. When I think of when I joined versus the numbers now, it's, you know, incomparable. But that, because that's important, is having that sort of good morale, and again, not just lip service, but seeing it on a day-to-day basis.
Great. So 4 years of Protea, you're a manager now. What's the next goal? What are you working towards? What's the next big thing you want to start trying to work on achieving?
That's a very good question. I think you might have stumped me there. I would say next goal, if I were to talk about, you know, sort of medium term, I think there's still so much that I'm learning about managing people. I think, and this was something that I learned from you, and again, we've spoken about it plenty in the past. You can enjoy people and you can be empathetic, but that doesn't translate to you automatically being a leader. It doesn't. And that was a very difficult lesson to sort of learn along the way. And it's something that I continue to work on. And that is so my goal for now. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I'm in the cult. That's my goal. I'm not leaving. They have to kick, and I'd go kicking and screaming. No one's kicking me out. So that's it. That's the end goal. But for now, I am really just focusing on the people side and kind of, you know, growing into the role.
That's a good goal. It's always overlooked by accountants, the managing of people. I think we all get sold on the idea that, oh, you just have to work with numbers, which anybody that's watching this that wants to get into the accounting space, it's the biggest myth ever. Accounting is all about relationship and all about managing people. So do yourself a favor and figure it out sooner than later.
Absolutely.
Last question for you, Michelle. If somebody is considering applying for a position at Protea today, tell them why you think they should do it.
Okay. Well, good thing I've got my sales pitch voice going, because I can sell it really well. I would say, you know, and just drawing from my experience, obviously a very biased opinion. Number one, being in an environment and being in a job where you can, if creating value and adding value to the people around you, because that's another big misconception. Accountants just work with numbers and they don't add value. And yet, you know, going through there, I mean, we get so many testimonials where even the smallest things that we do on our end have an impact on our clients, and they really value, you can really add value to people's businesses and to their livelihoods. We're keeping people employed is what ultimately, if you're a good accountant, if you're producing quality, that is what you are achieving. So if one's goals are aligned with adding value, 100% the place to be. If you are interested in growing as a person and really being given the space to do so, that's reason number two. Number three, a fantastic training and learning opportunities available. I have to put that in there. I'm gonna sell myself a little bit there, which is not, you know, like I say, you know, if you look at that's not really top drawer when it comes to what companies offer all the time. So that's very important. And if you want to be seen, I would say, and that was for me, that was how I felt. I felt I'd come to a space, and I still do, where I'm seen and people actually care what I do. So, you know, that I'll keep it short. I mean, I could go on forever, but yeah, that is my, and certainly drawing from my own personal experience.
Great. I think it's a perfect place to end it. Michelle, thank you so much for your time on Protea Conversations.
Zane, thank you for having me. Thoroughly enjoyed the chat.